What's up, everybody? This is Alfonso from Heartsick coming at you live from the Scott Bowling Museum. It's incredible. You got to check it out. Thank you very much. Make sure you check out Scott Bowling's museum right here on Good Company with Scott Bowling.
Hey guys, my name's Scott Bowling, and we're with the man, Alfonso.
What's up?
Heartsick.
Yes.
Dude, I love your band.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. This is amazing. This is like rock and roll overload for me. I walked around the house just
It's like hard rock with all the bands you actually like.
I felt like having like a Kermit moment where he just freaks out and just runs around with his hands screaming. It's just insane.
That means the world to me. Thank you,
dude. It's
man.
amazing. This is incredible. This is this is not something you see every day. You literally own rock and roll history.
Dude, thank you so much.
In your space. And it's I don't know, I'm pretty sure I'm going to come back a year later and it's just going to be Hall of Fame rock and roll Scott Bowling.
Oh, no pressure, man. Yeah, that's amazing, man.
Sure,
We're gonna have Hard Rock with Heartsick on there.
Yes,
be
hopefully, man. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, dude.
That's the ultimate goal, I think, for everybody who wants to be a rock band musician.
This video is playing behind us, and
Yes.
when I knew you were gonna be on the show, I was like, I gotta ask you, how hot was it in this room that you guys are jamming? Because your drummer looks like he's about to pass out.
Oh yeah, Jake always looks like he's a pass out, man. He just goes hard. But no, it wasn't hot at all. That was actually a really cold day. So Michigan is a frozen tundra 7 months out of the year. And we shot that and it was actually really cold outside, but it was really nice and sunlight out there. Mm-hmm. And the production company that we worked with, who is coincidentally one of the guys in that production company, helps me manage the band. Mm-hmm. And he had access to that space, and it was this big, a big banquet hall. And they just had weddings in there, and the COVID was, at the peak of COVID happening. And he just was like, we'll give you $100 if you let us rent it. And the place was like, yeah, sure, $100, here you go. And so
nice.
We had it for 6-7 hours, and we just did a bunch of stuff in there, which is
Oh,
cool.
really? So you guys did a bunch of songs?
Yeah, so we ended up, it was the easiest way to do it was to just record a bunch of all our new songs.
Yeah.
To then, because we have an EP coming out, so we decided let's do 4 of those songs. And since we have the space for 6 hours, it just makes sense to do that rather than set up, just do one song and then be done with it.
And you guys are playing live in there?
Yeah, so that was us live.
What's the sound like in there? Is it echo?
No, well, it wasn't too bad because the way that we do it is we have an in-ear monitor system, mm-hmm. So we put everything directly to the mixer. So what you heard, it's really weird because what you hear if you're standing in that room, you don't mm-hmm. hear us playing at all. The amps are off. It's all going through the in-ear monitor system and into the mixing board. So
yeah.
if you're just some random person that walks in and you walk in on us, it just looks like a bunch of idiots strumming silent guitars, just
with a lot of drums.
Yeah, with a lot of drums, and we just be what is happening? You know?
Oh, this blows my mind, dude. Every time I watch this, I'm like, it's got to be 95.
No,
degrees in
it
there.
wasn't bad at all. It was super nice. It was warm enough.
Yeah.
To not be uncomfortable because the moment you walked outside, it was just oh, dude, it's just freezing out there. So yeah, it's a cold state.
Dude, so where exactly are you from, man?
So I'm from Puerto Rico, and then I moved from Puerto Rico a lot with my family.
Yeah.
So Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and then lived in Germany for a little bit because my dad was in the army, Texas, and then we ended up settling in Miami, Florida. And I grew up in Miami.
How old were you when you guys settled?
I was 6, I think, 5 or 6 years old. I think it was 1988 when we moved and stayed in Miami. And we lived in Miami Beach for the first year doing all that cowboy, cocaine cowboy crazy stuff. Dude, it was just insane. So we moved there, and then we finally ended up settling in a city called Hialeah in Miami, Florida. And I was there till I was 17 when I graduated high school, and then I ended up in Michigan because I went to Michigan State.
Okay, and I definitely want to talk about that, Michigan. But your sister's here, actually.
Yes, my sister's here.
So is that your only sibling?
That's my only sibling, yeah.
So earlier she's like, I got him into Nine Inch Nails.
She did. No, yeah, my sister is the reason why I ended up liking heavy metal and hard rock because she apparently, I just found this out because I don't ask my family questions, and apparently she got in trouble for trying to go to a Pearl Jam show or something.
No way.
Yeah, I guess she was sneaking out. Bad
early
sister. Yeah. This was like
like
at the height of,
92 or
like nobody knew who Pearl Jam was, and I guess she was sneaking out to go watch them in concerts.
That's a cool sisterhood, man.
Yeah, so I ended up she's sneaking to concerts and I'm sneaking into like movies I shouldn't be watching. So me and my friends went to, I was in middle school and we went to go watch The Crow. We snuck in, we bought tickets for like
one of my favorite soundtracks ever.
My favorite movie ever. Like that is my absolute favorite movie of all time, hands down. I've seen The Crow like 30 times.
Okay,
like
here's how we're perfect, right? You love the movie, I love the movie. The soundtrack, I can listen to it to this day.
Well, here comes the story, right? This is gonna blow your mind because I watched the movie and then me and my sister, she absolutely hated me when I was a child because I stole the thunder from her because she was a little princess for like 5 years, and then I came in and I was like, haha, screw you, I'm the new guy. So I would sneak into her room without her knowing, and she had like this tape like collection deck thing.
Yeah.
And I would go through the tapes and I saw the Crow soundtrack on there. And I took that and I was like, I saw the movie.
Yeah.
And I played that tape till I literally broke it, and she almost beat the ever living crap out of me.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's my favorite soundtrack ever. Like
it's all killer.
Like that soundtrack is absolutely insane.
Yes.
Like the Crow Burn, like Burn from The Cure, insane.
Dude, that is amazing.
That song's amazing. Milk Toast from Helmet,
yes.
is on there. Like yeah, dude, that soundtrack
is so good, man.
That's how it changed my life. So like because of her, like I went from like liking like hip hop and like R&B. I was in a boy band in middle school.
No way.
Swear to God.
What were you guys called?
We didn't even have a name. We just do Boys to Men covers. Like for all the talent shows.
I'm not joking, dude. In 5th grade, we did Into the Road.
Dude, yes!
Yes! I was the bass.
Yes!
I was like, girl.
I was the tenor.
Now that you leave. You know what I mean? I did the whole, like, I memorized the whole thing.
Dude, I know the whole song. I know every single song, man.
That
it's
song blew me
insane.
away,
Yes. So I was into that stuff, and then I got the Crow soundtrack, and that just... it blew my mind. And then from
the Crow movie's great too.
Oh, dude, it's insane.
I loved it too.
No, yeah, I mean, it's like everything that came after that, like with the Crow, was kind of like subpar. But,
well, Deftones were in part 2.
Yep, Adrenaline.
Yeah.
No, it was Teething was the song
yeah,
and that they performed on the movie soundtrack.
That's the only thing I know about the part 2.
No, yeah. Well, part 2 had a really good soundtrack because it had Korn, Sean Olsen on it. It had Hole.
Yes.
It had Deftones.
That's back when like soundtracks were really good, man.
Yeah.
Like the Spawn soundtrack. Remember?
Yes,
like,
yes. Or Godzilla soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Like it's insane. Like I was having this
Queen of the
conversation
Damned,
with one of your staff. Yeah, it was like. It was like
I like you said staff.
Yeah, well, I mean,
legit.
This is a legit place.
This is my staff. Yeah.
But no, we're having a conversation. It's like we come from the day that like soundtracks, like it was like a thing. It wasn't just like you weren't just watching the movie. Like you watched the movie and then you experienced the soundtrack with that. And Empire Records. I mean, the soundtrack for that.
Yes.
You know, it was like had Pearl Jam. I mean, had people in the movie. You know, that were like,
dude, I've heard that in so long.
Yeah. So for me, like all those soundtracks were really what changed my perception.
Sorry.
Yes, singles.
Pearl Jam was in singles.
Yep.
And Alice in Chains might be too.
Yeah. Wow, there's another. I mean, just a bunch of crazy things that came from those movies that were soundtracks, and that's kind of like really changed my aspect in music and how I got into metal. So yeah.
And you were like always singing. I mean,
yes, I was always singing. No, I was always a singer. When I was a kid, I'll never forget this. I was in Puerto Rico. I was in 1st grade because they let you start early in Puerto Rico. And my music teacher asked, like, what do I want to be when I grow up? And I said, I wanted to be a singer. And I always was into singing. I was in I was in choir in middle school. And then my sister's an actress. So she was part of a group back then in Miami, which is called Voices United, and it was like a troupe that did a big production about community things and like just teaching kids to stay off all the bad things and all those other things. And it was a big theater
back
company.
in the day.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a big theater company that she was part of, and I ended up trying out and got into the choir part of it, and she was in the acting part of it. So I've been singing most all my life.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's always what I did.
So what were like the earlier bands you started with? Like, I mean, did you go like? Because I always I had bands in high school. I mean, were you?
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
yeah. No, so I like personal bands, like bands that you were in.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I have the best first band name ever. Hardcore Jalapeno. We were called Hardcore Jalapeno.
How did you sell that name to the band?
I didn't make it up. It was like my best friend who was the best man in my wedding like a few years back. Yeah, he was like Hardcore Jalapeno.
Did you have a list of names and you're like,
no,
that's the one?
He just showed up and was like, we're gonna be called Hardcore Jalapeno. We're like, that's a great band name.
That works sometimes because bands are like Korn's awesome, but Hardcore Jalapeno.
That's I don't care whoever it is out there that's famous or not famous, we have the best high school band name ever. Hardcore Jalapeno.
What did your family say when you told them that name?
They just laughed.
Okay, everybody.
But my parents were really cool, man. Like, I grew up listening to a lot of eclectic music. My mom and my dad, obviously being Hispanic, merengue, salsa, we listened to a lot of that. But my dad was really into rock and roll. My dad, like, he was really into like Led Zeppelin, really into like blues, like Muddy Waters, Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I grew up listening to a lot of like all sorts of different types of music. And then my mom's like a big Yanni fan and like
really Yanni. Oh, he's a hairy dude.
Oh, dude, she's like I every Saturday morning, without fail, starting at 8 a.m, it did not matter. My mom would clean the house from top to bottom, listening to freaking Yanni and Celine Dion. I remember both of those. I could literally memorize every single one of those records, like every Saturday.
Okay, if you had to pick Celine Dion's best song, which one?
Oh, dude.
It's not Titanic, is it?
It is that one. That would be the best one, to be honest. That's really the best Celine Dion song. Like, I hate saying that because it's like the biggest single, but it really is.
Yeah, man.
It really is.
You can tell they rock it, man.
Oh, dude, she's a legend, man.
I felt like the band Disturbed can like make any song awesome. So,
dude,
like, I don't know why I just thought of them. But like,
they're like, it's funny because that band, how they've like risen in their careers, insane, and then having a song that what's the name of that song that they was a cover and it just blew up for them.
It was Sound of Silence. Yeah, it was
right?
huge.
Yeah, that became a huge song for them. But it's weird seeing that band because I remember I was like sitting at a buddy's house and watching HBO like in the middle of the night, and back then they had a show called Reverb, and that show was they were filming Disturbed at, I think it was like the Metro. It was like some little small bar, and there's this band called Disturbed that they're doing a feature on. And David Draymond was like in his early like mid 20s, and he's in like, and I see this band, I'm like, who the hell is this? And then this dude like comes in his like orange jumpsuit, and he gets on stage, and like I had no idea who the band was, and I just remember the name Disturbed, and I saw the whole concert, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then like 4 months later, man, it was like the sickness just blew up. And then now you have, Sound of Silence, but that stuff is good for rock and roll. Like things like that is what keeps rock and roll on the map. You have that sort of, you need stuff like that. And it's weird being part of a metal community and a heavy scene where sometimes, there's sort of this elitist mentality. You'll see like, oh, Miley Cyrus is covering Metallica. And it's like, dude, like, that's amazing. Like Miley Cyrus has like millions of followers. Even Metallica's biggest song cannot match Miley Cyrus.
Okay, well, Jamie Joss always says it like, what's the high tide raises all ships? Or
yeah, right.
So it's great for the genre.
It's
keep it
great,
up.
Exactly. So yes, please, Miley Cyrus, cover every Metallica song ever, so that people can get into bands like Heartsick, bands like Seven Dust, bands like Stuck Mojo. I mean, that's how you do it. So
do you like Stuck Mojo?
I love Stuck Mojo. It's one of the first metal bands I ever heard.
No way.
So it was the Crow soundtrack, and then I discovered Snot.
Yes.
And Green Day. And then Madball and Stuck Mojo.
Madball, too.
Yeah. And then I had a buddy in high school that would like, he was like a huge metalhead, and he like really got me into like heavy metal. And I would go to like, it was weird. I'd go to like his window in the middle of the night. He's like, dude, check out this new record. And he'd give me like Deicide. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to hell. And then he'd like give me like Fear Factor. I was like, oh my God, this is insane. Like he would just up the ante.
I just had these like mental visions of you going up to somebody's window in the middle of the night.
Dude, that's how it was. Like I would sneak out of my house, man, go to Ruben's window if you're watching.
Throwing like little pebbles at the window.
Yeah,
like,
my buddy would just, his name was Ruben, and he would just like give me like records all the time.
We would have been best friends, man. Like, or I would have tried to have been your best friend.
Oh, dude, same here. Like, do you remember Columbia House? Like when you would order all the CDs? That's how I would find out bands. And like, so all my friends in high school were really into music, and we would just trade records, and that's kind of like what built up my love for heavy metal and rock and roll and stuff.
Real fast, the singer from Avenged Sevenfold said in an interview that Columbia House, I think it was the singer of Avenged Sevenfold, but he said that he would take his neighbor's address and his info and get the album sent to his neighbor.
We did that too.
Yeah, and he said he would check his neighbor's mailbox until the albums came out.
Dude, my best friend Vinny in high school, he would do that. He would buy like Columbia House records.
Yeah.
Because you'd get like two for the, you'd buy two and then you get like seven for like a penny or something, right? And he would like order it and put it at somebody's houses, and we'd run and like the next day and grab the CDs.
That was a thing.
Yeah, dude. That's how I discovered so much music, man. So
that's so cool that your sister like kind of got you influenced. Music.
Yeah,
my brother did the same thing. He was about 5 years older than me. I don't know the age gap between
5 years. Yeah, 5 years.
It's amazing.
It's crazy, right? Yeah. She really got me into it.
Yeah.
she got me into a lot of music. A lot of the music that I ended up modern music was because of her being an actress and doing, you know, she was like a huge Madonna fan, and like she would I would reluctantly have to be like her like partner for whatever stupid dance routine she was doing in some play, and I hated it so bad.
Did you ever wear the bracelets and stuff?
I did. My dad would take her to like New Kids on the Block, like concerts, and he'd have to drag me along. He was like, I don't want to be here, blah, blah. Yeah, so like I discovered a lot of music because of her, and that's really what it was. Madonna. A lot of my love for 80s music comes from her because she was really big into that stuff. And Madonna, I mean, it was crazy seeing that Madonna like LP that you have here. I was like, oh my God. Like the moment you say Madonna, I either have like this great memory or like I go into like PTSD from my sister trying to do a dance on me, and I'm like, ugh.
Dude, I heard Madonna's Live to Tell again, like randomly on YouTube, and I was like, this could be the best song ever.
Dude,
I mean, it's
that whole record collection is insane. Remember the book that she put out? I think it was called Sex or something like that.
No.
Yeah, dude, it was like a book that she put out. Yeah, Truth or Dare.
I remember the movie Truth or Dare. Yeah, she did like it's like a black and white.
No, so she made this book of like just a bunch of like pictures and stuff and all sort of sexual things, and it was like a really big deal, and it was like super taboo, and she like got so much crap for it, you know?
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I gotta say this, I'll quit. The guys from Deftones, when she signed for Maverick Records, they all got a naked photo of Madonna. and I had Ming, Chi's brother, on there, and he said he got one too.
Dude, yeah, man. So yeah.
So she sent everybody a nude. And they all framed it.
My sister is definitely the reason why I got into like metal.
That's so awesome,
like alternative music for sure.
I got your vinyl here, man, which is really cool because
very cool.
You sent it to me with a note and everything. It was really tight. Yep. Is this your first one?
That's our first vinyl ever. We've been a band, so the Heartsick has been a band for 6 years under the Heartsick monitor. But the band itself, myself, our bass player Waylon, and our guitar player Jared have been in the same band together since we were 18. We started this band when we were all 18, and the band's name was No Life.
No Life, yes. And I saw a video on that.
So KNOWLYFE. We were that band name for about 15 years, 14 years. And through all that time, we always wanted to print vinyl records. But as an independent band for so long, it was like, these things are expensive to make. Like, this is not we made 500 of these limited, only 500 dual disc, and it was like $6,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's insane. So we finally were able to build ourselves up to a point of our career where it was relatively easy to get the funding for it. So we printed 500. So that's it. Like, we just printed, and this is the first LP we've ever done.
I love it, man. It's great.
Really cool.
When you said No Life, what happened with this group?
So our drummer passed away. Our drummer, his name was Matt, and he had a severe drug problem for a while, and then we were like, listen, man, you got to go get clean. It's getting pretty bad. And we had somebody jump into the role, and Matt was supposed to kind of be working on himself. And basically what ended up happening was we woke up one morning and his dad had called us and said, Matt had passed away. He found him dead on his living room floor. And from there, we were still called No Life, and we're about to put out our 7th record as No Life. Oh. And we were recording with Josh Schroeder out in Bay City and Midland area, and we ended up getting these two managers, who one of them was the guitar player of a band called Straight Line Stitch. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
That sounds familiar, man.
And they approached us and were like, look, we really like what you guys are doing, but we should think about maybe changing the band name, because after X amount of time, it just seems like it just hasn't stuck with people. And we were all like, oh, we don't know. But Matt, before passing away, we had always had conversations with Matt about changing the band name, because Matt hated the name.
He did?
Oh, he hated the
name. How did the name start?
The name started because we were all in college, and I was in my dorm room at McDonald Hall at Michigan State University. And there was do you remember Tower Records?
Yeah.
So there was a Tower Records across the street from the dorm. And we had these stickers that said Tower Records, no music, no life. Right?
I remember that.
And we were like, how about No Life with a K? and with a Y, because of Korn, we're like huge Korn fans. And that's how the name came up, and we just stuck with it. And then when as Matt was in the band, he just always hated the name. He would just make fun of the name all the time. And then like our CD got into the hands of a guy named Eddie, who was the guitar player of Taking Back Sunday. And he ended up really liking the band. And him and Eddie became really good friends. And Eddie would just be like, oh, your guys' band name sucks. It just sucks so bad. So, and Matt would just keep going on with it. Yeah, we were just, dude, just shut up, you know? So when he passed away, we were just kind of like thinking about it and being like, if we make this name, we've worked on this No Life name for a really long time, and we had a really big following in the Midwest. And we just really were like, oh, we don't know. But our management was just basically like, listen, relatively out of the Midwest, nobody knows who the hell you are. So if you're going to change your name, now is the time to do it. And we kind of looked at each other and we're like, what would Matt want? And we're like, Matt would want us to change the name. So that's how we let go of that name and adopted the Heartsick model.
Yeah, well, I love Heartsick.
Oh,
I like it better than no Life. But
yeah,
it's so cool. Though.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, for me, it's like, I'm so ingrained in the band because I've been in the band since day one. It's just like two different aspects of the band, you know? So...
Yeah, man, that would totally suck if someone was like, can't call it Good Company. I'd be like, well, Good Company Bowling. That's gotta suck though, man. You know what I mean? A name is a huge thing.
It didn't suck so much as it was terrifying because you've put it's like you put so much work
you got
into
following.
this. Yeah, you put so much work into it. You really throw yourself into your art. I mean, obviously, you look around your room here. It's like you really invest in what you're doing. You really invest in yourself, and you love what you do. Clearly, so. Being approached to maybe change something in that routine that you have is terrifying, you know, because you're like, what if people don't remember, especially nowadays in the society that we live in? It's like, you know, if it's not on the internet, you know, every 5 minutes, they forget about it.
Yeah.
So for us, it wasn't more that like it sucked. It was just terrifying to be like, are we going to be able to retain the fan base that we've gained? And luckily enough, because of the internet and Facebook, we were able to just kind of change our name on Facebook, and all of our likes and stuff just went along with that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and the weird part was that when we changed the name, we had more people like us.
Really?
Yeah, so it was like, it kind of like cemented the fact that people just hated the name No Life.
Were you guys doing a lot of shows during No Life? I mean, like...
Yeah, oh yeah, man.
So on the marquee, like, you had to tell people, whoever, like, this is Heartsick,
yeah,
who's Heartsick.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Formally...
Yeah, dude, I mean, as No Life, we did a lot. As No Life, we did... 2009 Mayhem Festival, 2011 Mayhem Festival, 2015. No, that was as Heartsick, but we did the Vans Warped Tour. We ended up, when the Warped Tour was like really big, we ended up doing the competition for the Ernie Ball Battle of the Bands. Oh. And we actually won that in 2007. We won the $10,000. We won the tour on Warped Tour. We won a sponsorship from.
How do you win that? Do you have to just get everybody voting on you?
Dude,
constantly?
no, it was insane, like absolutely crazy. So for the date that they had in your hometown, you would upload your music, and the judges would pick who they thought was the best. And we got picked in 2005 to play the Warped Tour, the Vans Ernie Ball stage, and that was the year that had Avenged Sevenfold. And then in 2007 we applied again, and they chose us again, and we played the stage. Now what we didn't know was for like the grand prize was to fly you out to California. You win $10,000 from Guitar Center, and you win a spot on the Warped Tour for the next year. But the way that they were doing it was every stage in every city of every town, the sound people and the staff for the Ernie Ball stage would pick their favorite band, and they would take video of that band. But this was unbeknownst to us. We had no idea. We were just like, oh my God, we're playing the band's Warped Tour, you know?
Yeah.
And so the Warped Tour ended in July. We did our thing back in in 2007. And then it's like September rolls around, and I'm like sitting in my room, and I get a call from our guitar player. He's like, hey man, Ernie Ball just called. And I'm like, why would they call us? Like nobody has why would Ernie Ball call us? He's like, yo, we did the Vans Warped Tour, the Ernie Ball stage. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about it. He's like, so they said that we're in the running to be the grand prize winners. And I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, they said they'll call us in about a week to let us know if we won. And sure enough, a week later, we got a phone call, and out of like 13,500 bands, they picked us. And here's the crazy part. There was at that time, they would pick 4 grand prize winners. And it was us, a band from Utah that I cannot remember the name, a band from Chicago called Dr. Manhattan, and a band from Texas called Nothing More.
Oh, Nothing More was on there?
Yep, they won. First time we ever met Nothing More was from the Battle of the Bands, Ernie Ball. They flew us out to California. We opened for MXPX. They gave us $10,000 in Guitar Center money, and they paid for our flights and our hotel rooms, and we're sitting in our hotel room right on the Sunset Strip, and this band passes by, and they're like knocking, and they're like, "Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on?" And I'm like, "What band are you?" And we're like, "Oh, we're No Life. What band are you?" And they're like, "Oh, we're Nothing More. I'm Johnny." And we were like, "Oh, that's cool." And he's like, "So who's the singer?" And he's like, "Well, our singer quit a week before this, so I'm the drummer, and I just started singing, so we're just gonna wing it." And we were like, "What?" And
Dude,
he's
he
like,
did Phil Collins.
Dude, when we saw them live the next day at the Key Club, we were like, why is this band not signed? Like, what? And this was back in 2008. They didn't get their deal till like 2014. They were touring that whole time.
Before,
we knew those guys and became friends with those guys before anybody else knew them. And it was because they were Ernie Ball band. So yeah, we did a lot of things.
Who runs the Warped Tour again? I'm trying to think of his
Kevin
name.
Lyman.
Kevin Lyman. They did a documentary in 2010. I was telling Nathan about that. But man, I wish I'd gone. I don't think I've ever been to the Warped Tour, but it broke so many bands, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
It was insane.
Deftones were on there, man.
Yeah, and that was the thing. And the weirdest part about that was, with that Ernie Ball Battle of the Bands, when they fly you out to the Key Club, Kevin Lyman goes to watch the show to sign one of the bands to his record label, Epitaph. And he signed Dr. Manhattan and looked over No Life and looked over Nothing More. And we were like, we could not believe it.
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan was this weird, they were like this weird punk, like retro kind of band. And we were just like, really?
Yeah, why?
And and it took Nothing More like another 10 years before they ever got a deal. So yeah, it was crazy. But No Life did a lot. No Life did a lot in our time. We were sponsored by Jägermeister, so we got to play with we got to open for Typo Negative.
Oh my god, dude,
before Peter Steele died, like we got to open up for them.
What was that like?
Insane, dude. Like I couldn't believe it. Like standing in Peter Steele's presence was like it didn't feel real, you know, because like he was this huge, tall dude. Yeah. But he was like the nicest guy. He really was. And he was like, just stood out there. He's like, "Can we get a picture?" He was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And but it was just surreal, man. Like I'd been listening to Typo Negative like for so long.
Yeah, me
and
too.
when we got the call from Jägermeister to go open up for Typo Negative and like Hatebreed, we were just
so cool.
Holy crap. Yeah. So when we got to play with Typo Negative because of No Life. We got to open up for, it was Us, Shadows Fall, Lacuna Coil, and Stone Sour. We got to do that.
Man.
Yeah, it was insane. So yeah, I mean, we did a lot, man. It was a cool band. So there was apprehension, but it was more so of like, are we going to be able to retain that?
Did you ever talk to Jamie Josta?
I did. I talked to him.
Because I love his podcast, man. You'd be great on there.
Yeah, no, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Come to find out, like one of my friends went to like a Hatebreed show, and I think Jamie still does his like where he just sells records, like, and one of our records was in that collection.
Oh,
and we
really?
were like, what the hell? It was like, yeah, it was super weird. But yeah, Jamie's a really nice guy. I got to talk to him for a little bit. We got to hang out in the green room back then. This was like 2009, I think, or 2008. And
cool.
He's a real nice guy, man. Real nice guy.
Oh, that tour seems so awesome. Man.
Oh, I've
listened to all these guys.
That was insane.
So cool.
That was super cool.
I'm just going to
you got the Mike and Drew.
Mike and Drew. I thought this was crazy.
Old school.
Yeah, man. So it's like Heartsick, Mike and Drew is the name of the album?
Mm-hmm. No, so that was that song ended up being on
song. Yes, I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
I gotta get used to that. There's so many songs.
No, yeah, because we released a lot of singles before we released a record.
Doing. Yeah.
So this was the first song to the follow-up self-titled Heartsick record. So Heartsick self-titled was the first record we did under the Heartsick name after changing to No Life. And then Mike and Drew was the first single we released for the second Heartsick record, which is called Sleep Cycles. So that's
cool.
what it was, yeah. And everybody's like, why is it called Mike and Drew? And it was actually because of, the D in Drew is supposed to be depression, and the M in the mic is for manic, so it's manic depression.
Okay, that's cool.
That's why we did that.
That's cool, man. You got to release this all on vinyl now. So you just pay $6,000 each one.
Yeah, right. Just a single on each one.
Just single. A single must be cheaper, right? Snake Man, this is cool too.
Yep, that was the second single we released off of the Sleep Cycles record. Before we were going to release it, we did Snake Man. And that one was really fun because it was the first video we ever spent more than like $500 on.
Oh, yeah?
So we called up our buddy who did the Mike and Drew video, and we're like, hey, how cool can you make a video? He's like, you got $2,000? And we're like, we can find it. He's like, all right. So we paid him $2,000. And that was like that's a special one because that was the first time we ever spent more than like $500 for a music video. Yeah. That was really fun. So, yeah.
Dude, I mean, as many bands I've been in, I've always wanted to do a music video.
Dude, it's super fun.
Yeah.
It's always really fun, and it's always like really really nerve-wracking because I I did the treatment for the Steak Man video. I did the treatment for the Mike and Drew video. I've done a lot of treatments for a lot of our videos, and it's always hectic. But shooting videos is so fun. It really, really.
Do you
is.
come up? You said you did treatment. Do you come up with the ideas? And
Yeah,
all that.
And for a good portion of the videos I did, so going to Michigan State and trying to follow in my sister's footsteps, I took a couple of theater classes, and one of them was stage design and production.
Oh.
So I learned how to do like treatments for videos as well as like storyboards for videos. So I'll do all the storyboards for the video and the treatment.
So the band trusts you? Like they're like,
oh yeah.
Do you have to like run it by them, or they're like,
no,
just
they're
let you go?
pretty cool. Yeah, we're
That's
like we've
good.
been together for so long, and we're all really best friends. Like we all live literally from 5 minutes from each other. Like if you drive 5 minutes from my house, you can get to our bass players, to our guitar players.
Yeah,
so we all live
that's
right there.
convenient.
We're all best friends.
Are people in your band like? Do you have one guy that does all the artwork and you do the videos kind of thing?
So we hire a good amount of our friends to do artwork for us. So if you see any of this artwork here, this is friends that we hire that are really good friends of ours or graphic designers. When it comes to the songs, we all write the songs together, or I'll have an idea and they'll add in their input, or our guitar player writes the songs and then we kind of add our input, and then we also write with our producer Josh Schroeder, and so we kind of collectively put our ideas. But I do most of the video treatments for the good portion, but none of us are artists. Like not a single one of us can draw for like the life of us. If you put a gun to our head, we'd be like, yeah, we're dead. We can't draw.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Korn did a contest where like
for issues.
Yeah,
and I was sick, and it did 4 covers.
Yeah, right.
Yep, I remember. That.
So when you guys collaborate, do you collaborate on the lyrics as well?
I usually end up writing most of the lyrics, but it's always an open for us. Creating is pretty open. Like it's not that I'm against them writing lyrics; is that they just don't. I guess they trust me enough to know that I write lyrics well enough to be part of a song. But those guys, I've always invited them to be like, hey, if you got lyrics, just put them down. So for us, the writing isn't very controlled. There's no like, I have to have this, you're going to play this song this way.
Yeah.
It just ends up that I go and do a lot of the song demos that just ends up being the songs, or me and our guitar player will go. But it's not like, that is not this is how it has to be. It's just because
that seems awesome. That seems super chill.
Yeah, it's really is. We're super chill, super chill.
I want to be in a band like that. Great song, man.
Dude,
this is actually the first song I heard.
That song, this
song
one,
was awesome.
That's our biggest song to date, which is really weird because when we uploaded it, we didn't think anything about it. And then like when it finally came out, I was on my phone and I get this text message. She's like, dude, Love Letter's at 30,000 plays right now, and it's only been out for an hour. It's like, how is that even possible?
That trips me out. How bands put out such great songs. They're like, we didn't think of it.
I had no idea, but
you had to know it was like catchy. Like,
no,
it's like songs.
I'm gonna be flat out honest. I am not a really big fan of writing like really soft stuff or like songs in that vein. But it was something that I wanted to experiment with. So Love Letter was the last song we wrote for the Sleep Cycles record, and we were in the studio, and me and Josh were like, well, what do we want to do? And he's like, well, you haven't written a soft song. And I was like, fine. So I was like, here, I've got this stupid riff, and it became Love Letter. And when we put Love Letter on the internet and uploaded it to Spotify to like the playlist curation, we didn't think anything of it, and then it just blew up. They added it to one of their playlists, and it was like, that was it.
See, you're like, from now we gotta do a video now.
Yeah. So we had to do a video. And
but do you ever think that when you're writing this song, you're like, I want to write a slow song, and I won't make a video for it?
No, I never do. Like I think about all the other songs except like the softest one. I'm like, oh, I don't really care about that. But then a buddy of ours got a hold of me and he was like, dude, I've been doing some video work. Can we do a song? And I was like, yeah, here's the record. Pick a song. I want to do the video for X song. And he's like, okay, cool. And he like called me the next day and he's like, listen, man, like I know you want to do this song, but we really have to do a video for Love Letter. And I was like,
that's cool. He picked it out.
Yeah, and I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, like it's like the only soft song on the record. Like I don't know if people are gonna dig that. And he's like, no, you have to do it. And then like the song blew up. So I was like, I guess we're doing a video for Love Letter. So that's how it worked out.
That's so catchy, man. I love that song, dude.
It's a good song. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And this is probably, I absolutely love this song too.
I love that song. That's out of all the songs on Sleep Cycles, my 2 favorite songs are Methylene Blue and Shadow. And I really love this song. This song is so really fun. Yeah, it's just different. It's just a different vibe of a song. And we ended up doing the video. We do most of our videos in our hometown in Lansing. and we had access to the skate park that a friend of ours was skating at, and he knew the owner, and he was like, yo, I've got this place that you guys should shoot a video in. So we went in, and it was like this warehouse, and it looked really cool, and we ended up shooting a video there. But this song I really loved. Like, this was
seems like a fun song to play live.
It was.
Too.
We still play it live, and it's really fun to play.
Yeah,
for sure.
And by the way, you came here with John.
Yes, John Beatty from Brutally Podcast.
Yes,
Brutally Speaking
Brutally
Podcast.
Speaking.
And he's like already drunk over there.
Yeah, and look, we got his socks right here.
Yeah, he tried to get me to wear these, but I have jeans on, so I didn't put my shorts. I would have worn them. I
was like, John, I'll give you a good company shirt. And he goes, well, I'll give you some socks.
Socks. There you go.
On my website. No, these are really cool. Anyway, I'm talking about John because first time I heard this song was he was interviewing you.
Oh, okay.
And then I heard this song.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, you were telling him John about El Nino.
Yeah. So
you tried out for El Nino.
I did. A really weird, wonky story, but I ended up not doing it because it came to light like the band wasn't aware that this was happening, and then they had their whole like legal thing go on. But yeah, I got a call. I've been friends with El Nino for a really long time. No Life opened for them a lot of times. And I got a call from their drummer, Dave, and he was like, hey, this is going on. Would you consider trying out? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem, And it just kept getting weirder, like the pretenses of what was going on. It just
too much going on. It was like too soon. Maybe.
No, it just the stories that I was getting just felt weird. There was like, when somebody tells you something and you're like, that doesn't sound right, And sure enough, like I got a phone call and it was like, yo, the band doesn't know this is happening. And I was like, I'm out. Like, I'm not, I want no part of this,
Wow.
So, yeah.
And this is right like during Heartsick and everything. So
yeah, exactly. And,
in your mind where you're like, I'm going to juggle both bands.
No, I straight up told Dave, before everything else came to light, I said, Dave, I'm like, I will do El Nino, no problem. If you want me to do it, not a big deal. I'll do it. But I'm still going to be in Heartsick, and Heartsick's my first priority. El Nino will be second.
What did he say when you told him?
He's like, oh, are you serious about that? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, you guys don't really have as much. And I was like, I don't care. That's my baby. That's what I really want to do. And I believe in it, and I know that we can do it. And he's like, all right, man, yeah, that's cool. We can work out tours and stuff. And so, yeah, so I was always going to be planning on being in Heartsick, never leaving that band. It's just, that's like I'm so ingrained with that band, especially, and it's not even like the music. It's just like my dudes. Like, we're best friends. Like, I have no idea what I'm going to do when I'm like 70 and can't be in a band with Waylon and Jared and Jake anymore. I would just be lost,
Wow.
I just love doing it with those dudes.
That's so cool.
It's just fun, It's like, it's not even about the music anymore. It's just those guys. Like, they're like my best friends, and not being in something with them just feels super weird. Like, it's like, it'd be the weirdest thing in the world for me to like be in some other band and never be in Heartsick. I just could not do it. Like,
dude, you're so nice, man. I want to be in a band with you. Like, that's so cool, man.
And
I wish I had friends like you, man. Like, I need Scott.
Yeah, dude. Like, and even till like this day, like we just did a small tour with A Killer's Confession for about a week to test the waters on how this would come after the pandemic. And, we ended up staying at somebody's house in Janesville, Wisconsin. And, it's like we're all older dudes, and we're just sitting there, and Waylon, our bass player, is like, this is just so fun. I just never want to stop doing this. And we just all feel that. So when I got asked to do El Nino, I was like, I'm not stopping. It's just, I'll do El Nino more so for the fact that I can get more notice onto Heartsick, But then
it's kind of feel great too.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. But when I found out what was going on, I've been friends with Christian for a really long time.
Yes, I'm gonna have him on the show.
And I was just like, when I heard the story, I was like, that I can't do that to Christian. Like, I would never do that to Christian. And people were like, yo, this is just the music business, that they would do it to you. And I was like, listen, like, maybe other people would do that to their friend, but that's not me. Like, I'm not willing to put my friendship and my loyalty with somebody over my need to be, in a big rock band. Like, that doesn't serve me any purpose. Like, fame isn't important. Like, if you want to be in something because you want to be famous, that's going to be the worst reason to ever do anything, because fame has nothing good in the long run that comes from it. Sure, you'll get money and all that stuff, but I mean, like, I can't even imagine what it's got to be like a dude like Leonardo DiCaprio. You can't walk outside your house without somebody like taking a photo of you, It's like, I can't imagine what it's like to be like Corey Taylor. Like, I saw the video,
dude.
The interview that you had with him, and it's like, I can't imagine what it's like to be him and go out and people just know who you are and they may bother you and shit. It's like, so being in El Nino, that wasn't the selling point for me. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna be like in a big band. Like, I don't give a shit about that.
You seem really grounded.
No, I am, and it's like, and then knowing that it was going to in some way damage Christian and some of the other dudes from El Nino who are my friends, and I was like, no, I'm not. That's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Wow.
You know? So.
Well, that's awesome. I like that. Look at this.
Balloons.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an oldie but goodie. So this song specifically, so this is from the No Life era, and what ended up happening was this song was our biggest song as No Life, and it was kind of what catapulted us to the band that we would eventually become and gain the following that we had. We did a record with, do you know 40 Below Summer? Do you know Max?
Yes, 40 Below Summer, yes.
Max Illage is a good buddy of mine, and he recorded our EP as No Life that had this song on it, and this song just blew up. And it's everybody's favorite song ever from our band, No Life. Everywhere we go, are you guys gonna play No Life Balloons? And we're like, oh my God, fine. So we kept literally getting harassed by like a bunch of our friends who wanted to hear that song again. So we had some time, and for the LP, for the vinyl, we're like, well, what can we do to make it a little bit more special?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, let's do Balloons from the No Life era, and let's do a Nine Inch Nails cover, Bite the Hand That Feeds.
Oh,
so
yes,
that's how that came about, and that ended up being, so the LP is basically all of Sleep Cycle's record.
Yeah.
With Nine Inch Nails cover of Bite the Hand That Feeds and Oh No Life song Balloons.
That's so cool. And is this the only song you've taken from No Life?
Yes, that's the only song as to date that we've taken from No Life to Heartsick. And there's always discussions about what other songs could we take. And it's just one of those things. It's not, are we going to do it?
Yeah.
It's when we're going to do
it.
it.
Yeah, you don't feel pressured, right?
Yeah, no. We really want to. It's just the money and the time. Hand the
feeds, right there, yes.
Yeah. So we did that because we were doing our vinyl, and this song came about extremely randomly. So our bass player always has like moments of just like pure genius, like randomly. And we were on tour with King A10, and we were in Rockford, Illinois, playing this really small venue. And we're just sitting down, we're eating burgers, and Waylon goes, "That's the song we're covering." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, right now, Nine Inch Nails, Hands That Feeds. We're covering that." And,
that was at a restaurant?
Yeah. It was at this like rock and roll bar in
nice.
Rockford. And he's like, "Yeah, we're covering that." And I was like, "Says who?" He's like, "We're doing it. It's Hand That Feeds." And everybody just looked at each other and we're like, "Yeah, sure, okay, we'll do it." And that was it. That's how we chose the song. Like literally over some burgers in some random town in Rockford, like Illinois, just listening to it in their jukebox. And he's just like, "We're covering this." And we're like, "Okay."
Is it intimidating covering Trent Reznor's
Yes, very
voice?
intimidating, because I'm a big Nine Inch Nails fan, and I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan because of my sister.
Yeah,
she
your
had
sister.
the Downward Spiral, and she had Pretty Hate Machine.
Oh yeah,
you know, and
amazing.
Head Like a Hole like changed my life.
God,
Dude,
man,
that song's amazing.
so sick.
And we actually wanted to do Head Like a Hole.
Yeah.
But then I forgot. I think Buck Cherry covered Head Like a Hole.
Did they?
Maybe? I think so. I forget who it was, or maybe Puddle of Mud did. I don't remember.
Oh,
some
man.
band just had recently done, and we're like, oh no, and then this came about. Yeah, so just randomly like, yeah, we're doing this song, and we're all like, okay,
just
sure, whatever.
That's great. Look at this. We got
you
even got big props for this one.
Oh yeah. This one's Thrill of the Hunt. That's the first single we released from all the new music. Thank you very much. It's really different. We decided from Sleep Cycles, we did a bunch of really cool songs, and it felt like a song like Shadow, Slave Labor, and all these songs are a little bit more in the electronic side of it. Oh, you got that? You got the
like the massive.
Oh, there's the big one. There's the big version of it.
Yeah.
Look at it. Feast your eyes upon it. By the way, whoever did your foam board did a great job. I used to work at FedEx office. And
you did?
Yes. So I know the process.
So I've got 5 billion frames on my wall, and the guy goes, "You want me to make props for you?" Okay.
These are great.
I'll tell him he said that.
So yeah, this is the first single we released off all the new music that we recorded. After we released Sleep Cycles, we went back into the studio. We released it February of 2019 and March of 2019, we were already recording new music. And Thrill of the Hunt was one of the first songs we recorded in those recording sessions.
Dude, it's such a good song, dude.
And then we spent from 2019 March to just now recording a bunch of new songs. We have about 21 songs recorded, and Thrill of the Hunt was the first single, and that's what we chose.
21 songs.
Yep.
That's amazing. This artwork right here is Nathan Mowry said he loves it.
Yeah,
so big props to Nathan.
I'll give you a
He
story.
approves.
This is actually really cool. So the artwork sometimes that we get, I'll go online and I'll just start. I on Instagram I follow Dark Art. It's like a hashtag, and it's a lot of really cool artists who post like horror art. I'm a big horror fan.
Yeah, that's cool.
And there was this guy. His moniker is Dan Art A.R.T. And I saw one of his paintings and I was like, dude, this is amazing. Would you do artwork for my band? He's like, yeah, let me listen to the band if I liked it. And he's actually out of, I think he's out of like Saudi Arabia or something like that. And he's like a metal fan, and that's like kind of a taboo thing out there. And he heard the band. He's like, dude, I love the band. I'd love to do the artwork. And this is what he came up with. And we shot the video.
It was like
and
first
really
draft.
cool.
He's like, here's what I got.
Yeah.
You're like,
First draft. And
we'll
he's
take
like,
it.
he's like, it was all like penciled, like sketched out. He's like, do you like this? And I was like, yes. Yes. And that's what gave us the idea to make the video about vampire chicks. Like I said, we're all really big horror movie fans, from Dusk to Dawn.
Oh,
George
dude.
Romero.
Dusk till Dawn. I've seen that in years.
Yeah. George Romero.
dude.
Quentin Tarantino. So,
Yes,
yeah.
man. That's classic. Yeah, that's really
So
cool.
that was really cool. That is the first self-titled Heartsick record, man. That brings out a lot of memories.
So I got this out of order, but yeah.
No, that's okay, man. This is our first release as Heartsick. That brings back a lot of memories because Matt had just passed away. The record was done. We were actually going to release it as No Life, and he passed away. And then we had to kind of regroup, and we did this. And this brings a lot of memories. It's really cool, man. Really cool. I haven't seen that record covered in a long time, a very long time.
Did you pay like some random artist to do this?
Yeah,
as well?
it was a dude out in Detroit. His name is Christian Moore. He came highly recommended from a couple of friends of ours. And I said, I don't, as an artist myself, but not drawing, but like as a musician, I don't really like stifling other artists. I don't like saying make this, because I feel like that like stifles somebody's creativity. Maybe some people really like being like given some sort of concept, but for me, it's kind of like, listen to the band, whatever
I
you
like
think.
that, man. Yeah, listen to
I just want it to be organic. I'm a really big organic kind of person when it comes to art, and I said, listen to all these songs and come up with whatever you think, and just send me whatever you think it is, and we'll see what it's like. And that's what he sent, and I was like, dude, this is sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had no input on the art. We just said, listen to the record, whatever the record speaks to you in art, send that. And that's what he did. So yeah.
And we got Sleep Cycles, yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that was this is our current record that's out,
Yes.
and then has the
fancy
vinyl to follow with it. So this is the CD cover and the artwork for the CD, and that's the artwork for the vinyl. So the difference between these two is that this has an old No Life song that we revamped, and then it has the Hand That Feeds, and this just has the regular songs that we did on Sleep Cycles. And this one was really fun because the first Heartsick record that we did, we split the recording between two people. We went out to Detroit and recorded with one of our friends there, who's coincidentally also named Josh. And then we did some of the songs with Josh Schroeder out in Bay City, who's done a lot of really big records. And this one, we just went to Josh Schroeder. So every song on there was written and recorded with Josh Schroeder. So that's a big turning point for us too. We really changed the style of the band.
Yeah. Sleep Cycles, that's a great title for an album.
Yeah,
man. How do you come up with that?
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
So I've had some sleep paralysis dreams,
Really?
and it's super terrifying.
No,
and
how long have you had this?
Dude, I've had a reoccurring dream that's like sleep paralysis dream like since I was like 7, man, and it like
Till this day?
till this day,
Dude.
I still have the same dream, and it always freaks me out every single time.
What's the dream?
Dude, I'm always in some weird, random, dark house, and I feel this really terrifying, just dark entity around me.
Yeah.
But I'm not scared of it. I'm actually like, I start yelling at it and start like calling it names, and it just gets madder and madder, and like it traps me in this room. and it manifests as this dark figure, and then I just wake up every time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's super terrifying. But that's kind of where Sleep Cycles came out of. That song, like the record name, Sleep Cycles, just the cycles that you go through falling into sleep, like REM, and that all.
You got to make a video of this thing.
Yeah.
Like you yelling at this thing in the dark room.
Dude,
when you're
it was
7.
it's pretty terrifying, and this record is really special too.
Oh yeah.
Because we're all really big Deftones fans, and John Beatty can attest to this if you want to have a conversation. He would hit me up because he knows I'm a Deftones fan, and he's like, "How do you feel about 8 strings?" And I was like, "I think 8 strings are stupid. Blah 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 blah. I hate 8." I would talk so much smack about 8-string guitars, and then Deftones put out Diamond Eyes, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then I went to go see them. And then I played an 8-string. And I bought an 8-string the next week, and I posted it. And the moment I posted that picture, John's like, "So you got an 8-string, huh?" And he just will not let it go. He till this day still busts my balls about buying an 8-string. And a good portion of the songs on this record are all, dude, I bought an 8-string and never looked back. I was like, and Stephen Carpenter model right now. I own every single. I own. From the new models that he's released.
I got one framed right over there.
Dude, yeah, I see it. But I own the new models.
Oh, yeah.
I've got the purple one that has just the one bridge pickup.
Yeah.
And then I've got his black Stephen Carpenter model, just the black beauty that he has. Yeah. And then I have Dorothy, his sparkle red one. I bought that one.
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah, I'm a huge Deftones freak.
Yeah, me too, man.
So that band was the reason why this record happened.
Who did you like? Okay, going back, Deftones, and you're a big Korn fan too.
Yes.
Who did you gravitate first?
Korn first because I discovered Korn first because it was. But I think that's the band that everybody discovered in the new metal heyday.
Yeah,
Korn came out and I was like, "What is this? This is insane!" I remember watching 120 Minutes and seeing the video for Blind, and I was like, "This is revolutionary." But then I discovered the Deftones, and there's just something about the Deftones that I really gravitated towards, and I've just been a big fan of them. And just seeing how they've been able to gravitate their career and stay relevant, but stay outside of that mainstream sort of following that Korn has always been really impressive. And then as to where Korn really has an electronic feel, Deftones has always had this 80s type of sexy vibe, and I just love 80s music, so I've always gravitated towards them. So for me, it's always been eventually turned into more of a Deftones, and then they released White Pony, and I was like,
dude, Digital Bass, so many babies were born.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? That whole record was just.
That's what Heartsick needs to make a baby making song. Just one song, be like
trying.
There's gonna be some.
We have 21 to pick one, so let's see.
I got a poster with all your guys on there. You want to talk about them?
Yeah, man, these are my best homies ever, dude. So that's Jared. He's our guitar player, and he's awesome. He and I met in college. I had moved from Miami, and I was supposed to have a college roommate. I didn't have a roommate. I was all alone by myself in a state where I'd never met anybody in my entire life. I'd never been away from home for that long by myself. Yeah. I was really, really depressed, and I was not handling the college experience well at all. And Jared was walking down the corridor in our complex, in our residence hall, and he had a System of a Down shirt. And I just ran up to him, and I was like, "Do you like System of a Down?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Do you play guitar?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Dude, I play bass. Let's start a band." And we were friends from that day.
That's great.
Waylon, we met Waylon walking outside of a Best Buy in our hometown. And he's the bass player. And we were walking outside, and we had just started the band, and we walk outside, and we needed a singer, but we didn't have one. I was originally the bass player of No Life Heartsick, and Waylon walked out, and he was like, our drummer at the time, his name was Nick, was like, "Waylon, what's up? Do you want to try out for our band?" He's like, "Yeah." And he just shows up to the basement the next day, and he just started playing bass, and I just grabbed the microphone, and that's how the band was born. So that's Waylon. And then we have Jake, who's our drummer, and we've known Jake for a really, really long time. Jake was in a bunch of local bands in Lansing. He comes from a more speed death metal background, bands like Nevermore, bands like In Flames, bands like Behemoth.
I have a whole new respect for drummers like that.
Oh,
They
dude,
can-
yeah,
they can
yeah.
pull that
So
off.
he was in a bunch of like speed Swedish death metal bands, and when Matt passed away, and we asked him to join the band, I didn't think he liked us because he's into bands like In Flames, Opeth.
Yeah.
He's into Nevermore. He's into Strapping Young Lad, and I was just like, this is weird. Oh, look,
Dude,
we
this
did
happened
it.
before.
We did it.
Yes.
We did it.
We
Not
made
even
it.
doing it happening. Somebody else's stuff is behind us.
John wrote,
we made it happen.
John wrote me a poster, and I couldn't read it, but yes. I told him
We
before
made it
the
happen.
interview started, I said, look, if Lars Metallica comes on, it's good. Because it's like Ghost just sets it up, man.
The best part about this is
I don't set that up. It's like every other interview it sets
we're
up.
talking about Jake, and Jake, like he has jokes about like Metallica, so it's great. But yeah, Jake's our drummer, and he's awesome.
Yes.
I love Jake.
I'm so glad this came on.
This
too.
is amazing. We accomplished
Does
the
Jake
goal.
like Lars?
He loves Metallica. I don't know that he's like a Lars.
Don't be a
fan.
Lars hater, man.
Yeah, he's not a Lars hater, but he's definitely like. I think Jake's favorite drummer is probably like Gene Holgan or something.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah. So yeah, his favorite band is Opeth. Like he is.
Dude,
Opeth,
I
like-
used to listen to him. That's
oh,
awesome.
dude, he's like, we can't talk about Opeth in the van because if we're on tour and you say Opeth, Jake just from the very back seat will just rise up like the dead and be like, hey, do you remember the Opeth record? Like, he just will not shut up about it.
Do you guys, okay, last question. Do you guys have like in the bus, do you guys have a guilty pleasure where like, maybe we shouldn't tell the people we all like this song?
No. In the van, dude, there is no like I wish we had a bus. Jesus.
Oh, I'm
hopefully.
sorry, the van.
No, it's cool. I hope we get it one day. But no,
It'd be
we're,
cool if you guys all bust out Madonna and like everybody's just in sync.
we do
singing.
that. We do. Madonna. I mean, we have no shame, man.
I want to be in your band. Like you guys all sound so nice.
We're not
chill.
We just don't. It's not like that. Like the idea that like something is like taboo because it's like popular. Like no, we all listen to everything. I mean, our bass player is like a Tattoo fan. Jesus Christ, Tattoo.
Really?
Remember that? Do you remember the TATU? Those two girls. Everything she said, all the things she said.
Going through my head, running through my head. Yes.
We listen to that in the van.
Poppy covered that song.
Yes,
That song was just recently
we
covered.
do. We listen to Madonna. There's
I didn't know. I can't believe you just name dropped the artist that sings that song.
Yes.
All the things.
Yes, dude. Are you kidding me? So there's no taboo anything.
That's
There's no
another
guilty
level.
pleasure. We listen to everything. When we're going to shows, we listen to a little bit heavier stuff. When we're done playing shows and we're driving to the next place, it's all
It's all into the
mellow.
road.
Yeah,
Boys
it's
to
like
Men.
mellow, Boys
Yeah.
to Men,
See?
Gunship, 80s music. So yeah, no guilty pleasures, man. It's
Dude.
all good. Music is good. You're a musician and you like something, you learn from that. So
Dude, I like you, man.
I
You're
like
really
you
cool,
too.
man.
I appreciate that.
You're really down to earth. I really like this interview. We had
man.
Lars well,
Behind
I swear,
us,
man.
like,
Before we started, I
somebody
was
else
like,
before the band that isn't Heartsick. This is great.
I was like, Alfonso, if this is a good interview, Lars' video will just show up. It's like your spooky dream, man.
Yes, man.
That
Except
Lars
it's
is like-
Lars. Except
Lars
Lars is
is-
the dark entity.
Yeah,
that
dude,
comes up
he's
behind
haunting the show. It only comes on, man. That's good. Oh, and thanks, John, for
Yes, the
bringing you over
socks,
here.
the
Yes, if you guys want this, it's
brutally speaking, right there.
brutally speaking.
My Vanna Whites,
Yes.
Vanna Puerto Rico, right here. On his nipples.
You want to try them on?
I mean, not right now.
You want to smell them?
No,
I don't know.
I don't know where he's had those. I don't trust. I had to drive 12 hours down with John in the car. No thanks.
Thank you so much
Yo,
for being on the
Scott,
show, man. This
Thank you
is
so
great,
much,
brother.
Man. I appreciate
really
you,
appreciate
brother.
it, man.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you, man.
Very much.